Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I believe at some point in your life you've met a bully. I know I did. I think I've met several. They usually come up very early in life. You'll see them in grade school. They're the ones who push you around, who steal your lunch, who make you do things you really don't want to do. And they have no authority, right? Their power comes from people being afraid of them because they're usually the loudest. But if you really think about it, they're not usually backed up by anybody unless they clump together, two or three of them. But generally speaking, a bully is somebody who uses sometimes their physique or sometimes their big mouth to intimidate others. That's how a bully functions essentially. And everyone else, because they're either afraid or they have too much common sense, they disregard them. So the bully keeps thinking, oh, I'm the strongest because nobody opposes me. Well, going back to the bullies I've met in my life, like I said, it happened in grade school. I think it was in 5th or 6th grade, the first time I've seen a bully. Fast forward maybe 5-6 years, and I met the same person again. And guess what? They were no longer a bully. And I was thinking, I was almost shocked. I was like, why is this person not a bully? How did the change happen? And then I talked to other people and I said, oh, do you remember X, Y, and Z? And they say, yeah. I says, okay, so what happened? They don't seem to be bully anymore. And I said, well, actually, he picked on the wrong person and let's just say he's found its match. And that really makes me think, in today's world, we have the collective West on one hand, then you have Russia and BRICS on the other hand. Now, as far as the conflict is concerned, yes, Russia is at war with Ukraine, but Russia hasn't done anything to us, to the collective West. We have created red lines repeatedly, even though no one asked us to, and then we were the same ones to cross our own red lines. Now, the reason I made the bully analogy, you'll see it in a second. Essentially, I have two articles in front of me. One is from Deutsche Welle, and it's titled like this: Troops in Ukraine, will the West break its own taboo? I don't know about you, but it really gets my blood boiling when I see this sort of language. Taboo. This is not a taboo. This is a red line. I think Mr. Roman Goncharenko, he's the person who wrote this article, I think he or she doesn't understand the word taboo. This is not a taboo. Western troops in Ukraine is a red line. A line that if we cross, we end up in World War III. It's that simple. So this is not about breaking taboos. But anyway, the second article that I'll discuss is titled, even more interesting, Think tank close to Kremlin says Russia should consider a demonstrative nuclear explosion. Now, the reason I selected these two is because they're very, very close, tied together. So let's go back to the first one and have just a little bit of a read. I won't read it all because it's quite long. I'm just going to read a few paragraphs. The more Russia bombs Ukraine, the more pressure on the West. Some countries are pushing for allowing Western weapons for attacks inside Russia. Others might send instructors, aka France. Even a no-fly zone might be on the table. Of course, let's just put everything on the table, guys. Let's just fill that table with everything we've got. Yeah? Because that's going to end well. Very, very well. That's going to end in the second article, if you know what I mean. There are more taboos on the line. A presence of troops from several NATO countries in Ukraine is now no longer unthinkable. Great! That means we've just crossed another red line. According to Colonel Alexander Syrskyi, Commander-in-Chief of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, he has signed papers regarding French military instructors. These could arrive soon to visit Ukrainian training centers, according to the general on social media on Monday. So let's rewind a little bit. These could arrive soon to visit. What do you mean to visit? So we send the instructors to visit. Why would they want to visit? It's just like saying, oh, little Timmy, get in the school bus. Honey, we're going to go and visit Kharkiv in the middle of a Russian bombing. Am I crazy here? Who believes that France, because that's who are really pushing for the instructors, is going to send instructors in Ukraine to visit. No, they're going to be sent there to instruct the Ukrainian army, the Ukrainian recruits. That's the only reason you will go through so much trouble to send them there, not to visit. It's like, oh, mommy, I haven't seen Ukraine. I really want to see it now, especially since they're at war. Another paragraph from the article says, if the West were to send troops in Ukraine, this would also mean more air defense to protect them, according to Matisek. In Germany, some politicians and experts even advocate that NATO countries shoot down Russian drones and missiles over Western Ukraine from their own territory. So that means a no-fly zone. So we have boots on the ground, we have French instructors. We want to allow Ukraine to use our weapons, the Western weapons, to hit inside of Russian territory. And to top it all off, the cherry on the cake, the fly on top of the you-know-what, it's a limited no-fly zone. Do we really think Russia's just going to stay idly by and think, yeah, that's fine, yeah, just bring it on, yeah, just escalate it. We're not going to do anything. No, of course they won't do that. Of course they won't do that. It doesn't matter if we're right and they're wrong, or if they're right and we're wrong. These things don't matter. Once you reach a certain threshold, things will start unfolding, and they're going to be too big for any of us to stop, including the people who lead us. But I think lead is not the right word. I think I should say people who are in charge of us, because I don't think this is leadership in any way, shape, or form. Moving on to the second article. Think tank close to Kremlin says Russia should consider a demonstrative nuclear explosion. May 29, Reuters, a senior member of a Russian think tank whose ideas sometimes become government policy, has suggested Moscow should consider a demonstrative nuclear explosion to cow the West into refusing to allow Ukraine to use its arms against targets inside Russia. God, I can't read. Ukraine's leadership says it needs to be able to strike Russian forces and military targets inside Russia with long-range Western missiles to be able to defend itself and prevent air, missile, and drone attacks. A view which has found some support among some Western countries, but not yet with Washington. Well, no, because I'm assuming the Biden administration doesn't want to see Washington in a mushroom cloud. To confirm the seriousness of Russia's intentions and to convince our opponents of Moscow's readiness to escalate, it is worth considering a demonstrative, i.e. non-combat, nuclear explosion, Suslov wrote in business magazine Profil. And then the last paragraph that I'm going to read, the political and psychological effect of a nuclear mushroom cloud, which will be shown live on all TV channels around the world, will hopefully remind Western politicians of the one thing that has prevented wars between the great powers since the 1945, and that they have now largely lost fear of nuclear war. So this guy, Suslov, who is, what was his title? He's a member of the Council for Foreign and Defense Policy. So that's what he said. I think he's absolutely right. I think the only reason a war hasn't broke out between the Soviet Union and the United States during the Cold War it was because of that. The fear of a nuclear war. Who wins? Nobody. We all lose. There is no such thing as, oh, we're just going to use a tactical nuclear explosion somewhere. No, the minute you launch something against anybody who has nuclear weapons of their own, they will launch back. It's that simple. So this is now going back to the analogy that I made about the bully at the beginning of the video. This is how we are. We are little bullies. We go around the world telling people what to do, how to do things, because we're righteous. We own the truth. No one else has access to the truth unless we give them access to the truth, right? We are the good guys. And then when somebody doesn't do what we want them to do, then we go through the threats. Then we go to the sanctions. Then we go to French instructors from Mr. Emmanuel Macron. I know it's Macron, but that's how I call him, Macron, and no-fly zones and all that stuff. And then when that doesn't work, we're gonna up the ante, don't you worry. But it's all hot air. It really is. I don't think there's a single country where the people of that country would look at this and say, yes, we should absolutely do this. No, this is just our politicians trying to appear strong. It's all about appearing. It's all a show. There's no substance there. Then we ban the Russian media. We ban pretty much everybody we don't like. And then we write about them. We set them targets. Oh, they're going to do this by then. Or they're going to do the other by then. And then if they don't do that, we'll say, well, you see, they're losing. But they never said they would. We set them that target, but they never did. But anyway, guys, let's just pray none of this comes to fruition. I don't think it will. I don't think Moscow is going to launch any demonstrative nuclear explosion to remind us of anything. I think we know everything fully well. I think it's just a lot of hot air. However, if we were to send French instructors, if we were to shoot down Russian missiles from our own territory under a no-fly zone, I think all of that can change really, really quickly. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, if you gotten any value from it, drop me a like and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.